Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're well. We're back in Misty Marsh. Last episode we finished off the honey badger habitat over here, which I was very happy about. And we started work in our big restauranty cafe area over here. So this is what I'm going to continue with today. Lots and lots of rock work, basically, is the plan. So I'm just going to crack straight on with that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk to you about the next zoo that I'm working on, which hopefully is still a long way away. I've still got a long way to go on this zoo. But it's always, it's good to plan ahead and think about what project you want to do next. So I have been giving it a lot of thought, and it's a bit of a contrast to this zoo. So this zoo, as you can see, it's very small, very tight, lots of intricate rock work, and very small spaces that you've got to try and fill in, which is great, but I want to steer away from that with my next zoo. So the next zoo is going to be much bigger. It's going to be a lot more focused on buildings. It's going to be a very modern zoo. It's going to be very what's the word I'm looking for? Very detailed. That wasn't the word I was looking for, really, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a very detailed zoo, very much lots of custom stuff. So lots of custom, well, everything, really. Custom fences, custom buildings, big and open. It's going to be on an island. So I've actually, last night, once my little girl was in bed, I did have time to log on. I couldn't do any recordings. It's quite late at night, but I did manage to log on and actually start the process of creating the landscape for the new zoo. Just because even though I'm not going to start it for quite some time, I just wanted to sort of get on with it a little bit, and just feel like I'd done something towards it, So I have. So it's an island. And it's obviously it's an island surrounded by water. So there's going to be, from the entrance of the zoo, there's going to be a what's the word I'm looking for again? A path. Sorry, it's really hard to multitask, focusing on building this and then trying to put the rocks down and talk at the same time. I'm really struggling for some reason. Yeah, so there's a pathway going from the entrance of the zoo up to the island. I want to do a train of some sort on the island once we get there, and it's just going to be, it's not going to be full of habitats. It's going to have a decent number of habitats, but there's going to be a lot of open spaces, a lot of big, wide open walkways, plazas, covered areas, restaurants. I want to do lots of buildings, basically, as well as of course there's going to be habitats. It's a zoo, there's got to be animals, and there will be, but I just want to have fun creating a really big zoo, basically. But obviously when you do a big zoo, it really slows down your processing power on your PC, or it does on mine anyway. So I do have to be careful when I'm doing it. So that's kind of where my thinking has led me, is that I need to do something which is big but not overly stressful to my PC. So I'm hoping if I don't have too many habitats, but the habitats that I have are really impressive. Very modern buildings. So I was thinking, for example, doing like a big sea lion habitat, a big sort of, a sea life centre type thing. I want a big obviously a big sort of restauranty type stuff, sort of scattered around the whole place, I guess. But also I want a big entrance building, really sort of a big, impressive area as you first enter the zoo. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. So the way I did the map as well, I did the landscape tool. So what is it, sculpted? I think when you go into sandbox mode, you get to choose what sort of landscape you want to use, and one of the options is sculpted. So that's what I've gone with, because I think that's the best way of getting a pre-landscaped map that you can play around with. So that's what I did, and I created the map, and then I just played around with it. So you've got already some interesting hills and cool looking terrain to work with. So it already looks good just as it is. So there we go. So that's going to be the next zoo. It's going to be called Isna Zoo. No, sorry, Isna Island. Sorry, which doesn't mean anything at all. It's simply a name I came up with because I wanted it to start with an I, and that was kind of a word that I came up with that I thought sounded half decent. I'm not going to just come out here yet. I'm just focusing on this bit of the map for now. One day people will actually come down here and buy some donuts. I think they're mad for not buying donuts. But there we go. So yeah, so that's the next zoo. Again, it's not going to be for a while, I hope. Hopefully this zoo is got some legs still in it. As long as my computer holds up and as long as you guys are enjoying it, then this zoo is still going to go on for quite some time. But yeah, you just never know when an idea is going to hit you, and when it does, you just got to sort of make use of it. So that's what I've done. I had the idea. I've just got the ball rolling. I've got it as a save game now, so I can just go back and save it. And I didn't want to do all the landscaping stuff in the episodes because it's not exciting. It's not exciting for you guys to watch me spend it was only about an hour last night, but that's it's 2 episodes of pure landscaping, which is boring to watch. So I didn't want you guys to be stuck watching me do that for the first 2 episodes of a new series. Hopefully that's good for you guys. Hopefully you appreciate that. All right. Okay, we're getting there with our rock work now. So have I got sort of the ground covered? I feel like I've got the ground covered quite well there. So I think what I need to do, I need to create a sort of a flat roof above these, because you've got these 2 blocks here at the same kind of level, and I want this all to be connected. So when you're walking through it underneath, it all looks kind of tunnely, like you are walking through caves. And then obviously I can decorate the roof differently as well. I'll tell you what, I might do something like that, have a bit of a hole in the middle there, and then I'll bring it out. Let's go with that. Right, and then what have we got? Oh, do you know what I've done? I didn't start my timer again when I started recording. I'm such an idiot, I really am. It's because I'm stressed out about trying to get 2 episodes recorded while my little girl's sleeping. The problem is at lunchtime she's not really having an hour's sleep anymore. So trying to fit 2 episodes of recording in is actually quite tricky. But my girlfriend has said that she will be ready when little one wakes up to pick her up and look after her while I get 2 episodes done, which is great. My girlfriend's very good to me, and she appreciates how much I enjoy doing this, and she wants me to have every opportunity to actually get some good recording done. So yeah, I'm very lucky. Right, let's do a little bit of work here, trying to cover up some of these walls and kind of getting these pieces all connected. I don't mind some of this brickwork showing through. I think it looks okay like that. I quite like this kind of thing. can copy this around a little bit over here. Might be kind of cool having it kind of angled like this. It's a tricky rock to use, this one. It's a really good one, but at the same time it can look quite fake at times. So there, like, you've got the pattern the same. So what I might just do is just twist that round so you don't have that same repeating pattern. Tell you what, I think I might just angle that one in a bit as well, actually, like that. You see, and then you end up with little gaps which you need to kind of plug a bit like that, and then bits like this will just look a little bit too perfect, don't they? So you want to just come in and try and break up that pattern a bit. Again, once you've got the foliage, it will all change. Obviously I will put more up on the top here as well, but I'm just trying to get some basics in for now. So I'm quite happy with that down there. Let's focus on one block at a time, shall we? Right, so I think I'm going to need some more of this one. Let's go that way. Okay, so here I'm going to need to do a little bit of twist work. And then just keep on finding different ways to use this, basically. Kind of bury it in like that. We can then just do a little bit of a twist. Something like this. We can bring it out. So you can be quite creative, even just with this one single piece. You can do a lot of different things with it. And I know, you know, some of this you're going to end up with people kind of clipping through it. It's not the end of the world. You know, I can maneuver stuff around a bit. And then here I can just kind of fill this in a bit like this. Obviously you don't need everything to be completely hidden. You've got a little bit of brickwork shown there. I will hide that because I don't think it looks quite right having that like that. Right, so that's that block. Obviously I still need to put a door on the front here. Let's just thicken it up a little bit at the edges here. Hang on. No, that one came through a bit too much. I'll get there in the end. You end up with these, yeah, little bits that overhang and don't quite look right. Okay, okay. So I will come back and put a door on that. But, okay, how are we looking? Let's have a look. Again, yeah, it's taking shape. It's looking good. I like it. Let's get a little bit of this going on in here. This is another very good piece when you're doing this kind of stuff. Let's get that angled out. And then I quite like the idea of this little gap over here, but let's do that. You still got a little hole there, which I like. So I'll leave that. But yeah, I think most of this backside here is going to have to be covered up. Again, there you go. So you can do it with this kind of thing as well. Doesn't all just have to be the same piece over and over again. and then you can just sort of fill in the gaps a bit like that. What have we got? Let's have a look down here. Let's get, hang on, let's get rid of this aligning to surface. It's not helping me at the moment. Yep, okay, that's all covered up now. Good stuff. I think similar in here, I would say. Just take that. Let's just get the basics covered up here. And then I can work on the detail like so. Let's do the same here. Okay, good. Right, let's come in and do a bit more detail on here. Let's get rid of that again. And just work your way around and just see what you can put where, basically, to try and cover this all up. It's always tricky when you're working underneath something else. I probably shouldn't have done the roof first. I really should have learnt that by now, shouldn't I? It's weird because you have to pull away. You have to kind of push and pull in the opposite direction to what you would think when you're doing this. So, like, when you're looking up like that, you're pushing to try and make it come closer to you, which feels very strange. Just a little bit showing in there, and a little bit up in this corner. Good stuff. Now this over here actually is not finished yet. Yeah, that's better. There we go. That's what that needed. Right, and then we've got a little bit of work to do over here. Let's come back to this one. There we go. Let's plug that corner. And that one. This one, let's get this one leaning out a little bit. Something similar here, but let's flip it around a bit like that. Yep, good. And then let's get something at the top of this. Lovely stuff. So yeah, I appreciate this isn't the most exciting stuff to watch, and I apologise for that, but it has to be done. Okay, how are we looking? It's not too bad. So I've got to work out where else I'm going to include in this. We've got all of this area around here as well. Maybe I think I'll just focus on this for now. I don't mind this bit being open. I think that's fine. I think I might want a little monolith on this bit. So let's just get a little something going on here. There we go. So it's just got a little something interesting on there. And then we can just get a little bit of rock work around the base of this just to give it a bit of texture. Okay, that looks nice. Right, and then I've got the rest of all of this to look at. So I'm going to leave this hole. I think that looks good like that. But yeah, just need to do some more stuff up here. It's all looking a little bit flat, obviously, at the moment. Okay. So if you're walking through here, what do you feel? You feel like this looks too flat under here, don't you? That's what you feel. Just trying to unflatten a bit of this. Just try and add a bit more texture. Slightly lower roof line as well, actually, I think will look good. Make you feel a little bit more cramped in here. Okay. Yep. Looking good. Okay. So, I think vines are going to be my friends on here. So we're going to need the angle snap. Let's get some of these big ones on first. So yeah, basically these vines are just going to kind of hang all over the place. Wherever I can get them going to and from, really. Like so, and then let's get something like that. Is that a bit too low? That's quite low, isn't it? But I kind of like that. You've actually got to sort of waft it aside to get past. Ooh, I haven't done this edge. Let me just going to get an extra little piece on that edge there. In fact, I'm just going to do even more. I'm going to do something like this. Okay, right, back to our vines. Okay, that looks quite nice there. So as you walk in, and then over here, this definitely needs some vine work going on, doesn't it? I like that, hanging right down in front of him there. That's quite funny. I don't think there's anywhere else here that's particularly obvious for vines to go. Okay, I guess we've got inside, so I could quite happily get some hanging around here. Always got to be careful that the ends are actually touching rocks. The depth can be quite perceptive sometimes. Okay, what's happened there? Ah, okay, that one's wonky. I'll sort that out in a minute. Let's just get this one in place first. So yeah, sort of just doing a big sort of crisscross along this hole here. Hang on, what have we got here? Want something hanging right down as you walk past, like that. That looks cool. Right, this one here needs to go that way. Okay, that's good. As you walk in there, you're nice and vined. And then you've got this bit over here, so a little bit more. And I'll keep using the same one, but we are relatively limited really on the different types of vines. I wish we weren't, but there we go. We're going to make do with what we've got. Okay, so you've got a nice bit there hanging right down. I don't think there's going to be anywhere here for it to connect, is there, to hang down? No, let's get back here. Let's bring it this way. And we'll go in and we'll go up and have that hanging down like that. And then I might just do a little bit more over here. Where are we? Okay, we're in rock on that side. And on that side. What's this little one? Can I get a little bit hanging down here as well? I think I can. Excellent, okay. Cool, right, we need a door on here. Let's get that. Actually, let's just check. How long have I been recording for? 27 minutes. Okay, we're nearly there then. Doors. Let's get my classic bathroom door on here. This is always my go-to door for bathrooms. Let's bring that to there. And then we'll just get our little wall sign on here as well for bathroom. And then what I like to do with these is you twist them sideways like so, so that they can be seen from the sides a bit better. I think that looks pretty nifty. And it works because you get boy, girl and boy, girl on both sides. Cool, okay, there we go, right. So that's kind of our rock work done. I might go taller, actually, thinking about it. I might, we got a minute, just a minute. I'm very tempted. Let's get rid of the snapping because I'm not tempted by that. I'm tempted to build this up a bit more and make it like a real ridge up here. Get some different ones in as well. Just to make this feel more like a really tall, I don't know, what's the word? Like a volcano almost. Left a couple of gaps. I don't want gaps. Don't want it to look like the rocks are floating either. Yeah, that's better. So now I think once you're in here, you see you look up, you're really looking up through a rock circle there. Cool. There we go. So that is sort of the beginning of our our food area. More to do, of course. I think once we get all the foliage on, I think that will look really nice. But I think we're there. Yeah, we're there. Great. So I'm going to leave it there. So what do you think of our rock mountain in the middle here? Do you like my little rock pools? I think they look pretty cool, actually. The way I did them, it's quite clever, I think, using the in-game water pieces, because trying to do this with barriers, you just can't do it on such a small scale. So you kind of have to do it like this. And I think that's worked really nicely. Obviously, I'll get foliage in there. Once this is all covered in foliage as well, I think it's going to look really nice. I'll get some nice statues and things hidden in there. And then we'll continue the rock work out, obviously, around these other areas here, over to this bit here and here. So there's loads to do. And then we will eventually do another habitat of some sort, which will probably be kind of over in this area. Don't know. I've still got sort of the top of this to look at and see what I want to do up there. I quite like the idea of having a pathway coming up around the top of this, potentially. Or maybe rocks, but then a pathway in between the rocks with a few little windows looking through. That might look quite nice. So when you're kind of standing here, you can look out and see all of that. But we'll see. There's lots to think about. But for now, that's going to do it. So thank you very much for joining me. Please do let me know what you think of this down in the comments below. And if you've got any more thoughts or ideas, please do leave a comment. And until the next episode, I don't know when that's going to be, but until then, so you take care and I will see you soon. Bye for now.